Hello, good afternoon. I want to start this video with a confession. When I was first dealing with type 2 diabetes, I focused on asking my diabetes team about my diet, exercise, sugar, carbs, the obvious ones. And then I started to ask about alcohol, but I felt awkward in doing so. Excuse me. No? Yes? I don't know. Should I? I don't know. I don't know. I felt awkward in doing so because, let's be honest, in the UK, drinking's part of the culture, right? Pubs, birthdays, weddings, Friday and Saturday nights, stressful days, good days, everything seems to involve around alcohol and having a drink. But there's a stigma attached to it, isn't there? So, it smells divine. I'll just push that to one side for the moment. So, hello, I'm the UK Diabetic Guy, and I genuinely wish someone had sat me down sooner and said, here's how alcohol actually affects type 2 diabetics, or anyone with pre-diabetes. This is what you need to know. And I wish they'd said it without scare tactics, guilt, and nonsense. So today, that's what I'm going to do. This video is type 2 diabetes and alcohol. I wish I knew this sooner. So why is alcohol so confusing when you're type 2 diabetic? Because sometimes your sugars go up, sometimes they go down, sometimes they don't change at all. Everything appears normal until hours later. And you're left thinking, what on earth has just happened? What's going on inside my body? And that's because alcohol doesn't behave like normal food. It just doesn't digest and disappear. It interferes with how you manage glucose. And your liver plays a vital role in the control of your sugar control. Okay, so let's break that down a little bit. Your liver has a job to store glucose and release glucose whenever needed to help keep your blood sugar stable. But when alcohol enters the system, your liver basically drops everything else and goes, right, alcohol, it's toxic, let's deal with that first. So while your liver is busy processing alcohol, it stops releasing glucose and it ignores blood sugar management. This is why alcohol can give you those delayed blood sugar readings, especially overnight or next morning. So there's something then within the world of diabetes, which is called high first, low later. And this is the bit I really wish I'd known sooner, because many alcoholic drinks can cause an initial spike. So your beer, your cider, your cocktails, wine in larger amounts. So you check your sugars and you think, right, that makes sense. It's high. But hours later, sometimes when you're asleep, your sugar can drop. Why? It's because the carbohydrates from the drink have been dealt with, but your liver still isn't producing the glucose properly, and that delayed drop can catch people completely off guard. This is especially risky if, like I used to, because I wanted that slight beer buzz, drink on an empty stomach. Yes, I might have a few crisps, nuts, or pork scratchings or olives alongside it, but I would never have a full belly of food before I started drinking. And this is risky, like I said, if you take insulin or glycoside or another medication from that family of meds, and if you don't eat before bed. So moving on to the medication alongside the alcohol, I'll repeat what I've said in my other videos. I am not a doctor. I am not qualified to talk authoritatively about diabetes. The majority of my content will come from personal experience, but I'll try and give it a broad overview. But please don't forget, I'm not qualified, all right? I'm not a guru on this. I'm just an ordinary guy passing on practical hints and tips that are widely accepted as best practice. But if you want to drink alcohol alongside medication, please ask your doctor. Don't go to them and say, well, the UK Diabetic Guy said it was all right. That's not what I'm here for, okay? Ask the question first, drink in moderation. That's really important as well. because alcohol will interact differently with different medication. I know I don't want to blame for that. So why are hangovers worse with type 2 diabetes? Well, first of all, you're not imagining it. It's a real thing, okay? Alcohol dehydrates you, it raises cortisol, it increases insulin resistance the following day, it disrupts sleep, and it's like a perfect storm. And when you're experiencing all of those things, the day after, you start making unwise, healthy choices again. So your body will crave carbs and sugar, which is not what your body really needs. You're just filling that hole to get you through that phase. And the healthy alcohol myth is just that. It's a myth. So let's clear this up. Red wine is not a health drink. You might have seen one of my previous videos saying it's a more diabetic-friendly alcohol. And that's true, in as much as a Shiraz, a Merlot, a Cabernet Sauvignon, there's less sugar compared to other red wines, but it's not a health drink. Okay, it's still alcoholic. Gin, because it's clear, it's not free, as some people say, just like white rum or vodka, because more often than not, it's accompanied by a mixer anyway, which has sugar in. And low carb doesn't mean low impact. Even the 0% alcohols, the lagers and the bitters and ciders that you can find, sugar is put back into the drink after the fermentation process to add body and flavour because the alcohol's not there. So you've got to be mindful of that as well. So how to actually drink safer with type 2 diabetes? Never drink on an empty stomach. That will play havoc with your insulin resistance. Your triglycerides may rise as well, and it's not good for your cholesterol. Stick to lower carb options. A dry wine, just a small portion, spirits with the sugar-free mixers. Hydrate between your alcoholic drinks. There's no harm or shame in having a glass of water, particularly if you're going to be out in a restaurant for 2 or 3 hours and everyone around you is drinking, and you want to still be drinking at the same time as other people finish, maybe 3 hours later. You can bookend your drinks. Have a glass before or with, and then one at the end, but have some water in between, and it'll lengthen the time that you can have alcohol. So then you're not having your first 2 or 3 drinks in half an hour and you're sat around looking at everyone on the table thinking, oh, I wish I had a drink. And then you got alcohol envy, and that's not a healthy place to be either. So having water isn't cheating, okay? It's all right, it's quite acceptable. Do you, look after yourself, don't worry what other people are thinking. Have a drink between your alcoholic drinks. Have a drink of water between your alcoholic drinks. Avoid late night drinking. The later you drink, the worse sleep you'll have commonly, and your overnight sugars will be impacted by that. Check your bloods before you go to bed. Check them again in the morning, and be cautious next morning. Insulin resistance can be higher. So the mental side of drinking alcohol, I think, is just as important than how much you can have on when, depending on what medication you're on or lifestyle changes you've made. This part matters a lot, because for a lot of us, alcohol isn't, you don't have to be an alcoholic to enjoy an alcoholic drink. It might benefit you in social circles. It might be, to give you social confidence. It might relieve stress. It might give you a bit of you time at the end of a busy or stressful day. It might be habit. It might just be routine. So I'm not here to say don't drink. Absolutely not. I still have a glass every now and then. But I'm saying be honest with yourself about the trade-offs. Do you need to have a whole bottle of red wine? Do you really need to have a whole bottle of wine? Do you need 4 lagers in one go? Probably not. If you understand how alcohol affects your body, now that you're diabetic, choices will become easier, not harder, because you're trying to create a healthier version of you. And that's in a mindset. It's not that, walking down the aisle of a shop now, you think, oh, wow, that's a really nice looking one. It's on special offer. Should I get one of those? Yeah, but last time I had a few glasses of wine, I had a terrible night's sleep, didn't I? And then, I went for a fry up in the morning, didn't I? Oh yeah, do you remember that time we got the 4-pack of lager to watch the football and we had a pizza with it? It's like you can join the dots almost on your unwise lifestyle choices. Personally, for me, like with most of you, I'm sure if you're honest with yourself, that was an alcoholic choice. It was governed by not I want to drink, but I need a drink. And if you understand how alcohol now affects your body as a type 2 diabetic, I think those choices will become slightly easier for you. So what's the conclusion then? Because here's what it is for me. If I could go back 15, 20, 25 years and talk to my earlier self to prevent me even getting diabetes, but assume I had diabetes at that time as well, I would say, look, alcohol isn't forbidden with type 2 diabetes, but it is nevertheless harmful. And the more you understand it, the fewer surprises you get, and the more control you have. And that's the knowledge that I wish I had sooner. I wish someone wasn't so vague. You know, all the doctors over the years that tested me for diabetes said, well, how many units do you consume a week? And I would go, that many. And they'd go, you probably want to cut back on that. Or have you considered this? Or you might want to think about the effects of this. If someone had said, look, mate, this is what it's doing to your body. Right? You don't need 6 or 7 lagers on a Saturday afternoon. You don't need to treat yourself to half a bottle of whiskey on a standard work night. You know, you just don't need to do it. And I really encourage you just to try. When I got first diagnosed, I went 4.5 weeks without a lager. That might not seem weird for most people, but it was habit for me. I was doing it every day. Every day I opened the fridge to get out my broccoli and my mushrooms and the veg and all the fruit, all the healthy stuff that I'd traded into my crap. There was a 4-pack of lager on the top shelf. For 4.5 weeks, I didn't give it a second glance. I remembered it was there, but my automatic response to opening the fridge was to not get a lager. That's because the mindset had changed, because I knew what alcohol was doing. And it was almost certainly one of the biggest contributing factors that I got type 2 diabetes in the first place. The doctors haven't told me that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And what a daft thing to do. What a foolish mistake to have made and to brought that on. But look, my relationship with alcohol now is really positive. I know that I can have a sip of wine. Look. Oh, it's lovely. But you know what? I probably won't even finish that. I'll have half of that over the next few hours done. I'll have a little treat, move on from it, and I'll go for a jog. Right, look, this was a bit of a rambling one. I get that. But I just want I want you to go, I'm just not having a drink today. I'll just go 2 or 3 days without a drink. It's all right, I can do that. I'm just going to have some water. Try it. I urge you to try it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have found value in this content, or if you think someone else will find value, please share, drop me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and drop some comments. If you've got some practical tips that you want to share on within this community, feel free. That'd be great. That would really, really be great. Thank you for watching. I'm the UK Diabetic Guy, and I will see you next time.